The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
What's happening, Octonation? We're going to take a look at Bill Ackman, the SPACman, PSTH, ticker PSTH, the unicorn mane hair color updates. We've got a couple different colors coming in here. We want to talk about it. The big boys, are they buying PSTH? That's what we've been kind of looking that up lately, like how a lot of SPACs, there's been no big boy buyers at all. In fact, they just don't even exist. They're not buying anything, except for this one maybe. Top 10 owners of Pershing Square, Tauntaun Holdings Limited. Take a look at this. Guggenheim Partners Investments has only got, how many shares? 22 million shares. Almost 11%. About $500 million. How about Wells Fargo Capital Management? $220 million worth. When was the last time anyone has seen Wells Fargo own a SPAC before LOI 2? Can anyone name one? I tried finding some. They're not in any of the top boys. I looked at like Churchill, a bunch of other big ones. Wells Fargo ain't nowhere. Why are they in this one? Locust Wood, Picton Mahogany, Alberta Investments. They show up a lot. We see them quite a bit. How about top 10 mutual fund holdings for Pershing Square, Tauntaun Holdings? T. Rowe Price, y'all heard of them? Got 87 million worth. Putnam Multicap, y'all heard of them? Got all here on the website if you want to take a look and dive a little bit deeper. Largest quantity institutional transactions. Wells Fargo Bank NA, private banking, 150,000. Equates down here. Look how much they own compared to Locust Verde, Alberta. 9.6 million shares. This is Wells Fargo at the bottom. Wells Fargo at the bottom here. You see that? Kind of a lot more than the rest, right? We have some recent buys. 4 days ago, SMH Capital Advisors. They bought 20,000 shares. That's quite a bit. That gives them an ownership of 1.2%. How about the same day, 11/4, Raymond James and Associates, they bought 65,000 shares and owned 4% of the stock at a $1.5 million valuation. It just keeps going here. How about Periscope Capital on 11/2? So 6 days ago, they bought 370,000 shares valued at $8.39 million, 23%. Pretty unbelievable if you ask me. It just keeps going. We've got all these down here. Pandemic favors the biggest, says Wall Street legend Mr. Bill Ackman. This is an older article, but I'm going to tie a bunch of stuff together here. Wall Street legend Bill Ackman says mega-cap stocks such as Starbucks will come out of the March cerveza with a bigger moat and a market dominance like never before. And no election outcome will make a difference to plight of wreckage to small businesses. This I can't agree on, Mr. Ackman. Small businesses, medium businesses, gone. A lot of big businesses, Airbnb, not looking too good. Miss Jackie Reese's, remember my videos? I've talked about her quite a bit. She's the chick that was in Square and was like, oh, I'm not going to work at Square anymore because I want to go to Aspen with my family. That's what they always say, right? People never admit it's because of money or drama. It's because they could get sued. Maybe that's one of the reasons. They don't want to tarnish a company and move forward, but there's always money involved. She retweeted what Mr. Bill Ackman wrote when he said yesterday, there comes a time, he wrote this to Mr. Donald Trump, he said, there comes a time in the battle when one should fold the tent. Instead, focus on your accomplishments over the last 4 years. Think about your legacy and what's been best for the country. Concede graciously and call for unity from all who have supported you. Jackie Reese's said, hey, what he said, she's agreeing. You know, this is, I think this is kind of a negative statement, right? I understand what he's saying, but it's just not a nice thing to say. I don't think it's kind of like rubbing in the face. What I'm getting at is we gotta know this stuff, right? They're obviously anti-Trumpers, and it's just something to pay attention to. We're gonna tie that together also. Mr. Elton John, y'all who knew Mr. Elton John is? He told Billy Joel, I'm sorry. Billy Joel, y'all know who Billy Joel is? He told Billy Joel once, he said, I think Billy Joel should have done at least a couple more albums. Billy Joel's response was, I think Elton did a couple too many. If it's not Stripe, though, who is it, right? I mean, we're all thinking that PSTH is going to be Stripe, but if it's not, who could it be? A good friend of mine, Ray Charles, guy is super smart. He said, as far as potential targets, here is a list that I came up with thus far, and obviously some are very unlikely, and some I don't really want. Number 1, Stripe. 2, Bloomberg. SpaceX, probably not going to happen. Starlink, maybe. That might be okay. Airbnb. No, remember these? They came out blatantly. They were like, yeah, SPACs want us to go use them, but we're not going to do it. We don't need them. We're going to go bankrupt on our own. How about Chick-fil-A? Man, if someone can tap into Chick-fil-A, I don't know that it would be Ackman that can do it. Can anyone think why? Publix better not be. He's saying, I hope it's not Publix. I hope it's not either. Epic Games. I think Epic Games could be cool. Instacart/DoorDash. That one would do well. Chime, likely no and too small. Robinhood, likely no and too small. Can you believe that Robinhood would be too small for a SPAC? Unbelievable time we're in. Ripple, likely no and too small. Jab holding companies, possibly. Panda Express, still up in the air about valuation. I would say that Panda Express, just top about my head thinking it's probably too small. I don't see the money there. In and Out, not too sure on valuation. Boy, I don't know. I might be too small too. You know, as well known as this brand is, In and Out Burger, they don't have nationwide or worldwide dominance at all. They stay in only certain sections and are very selective where they're at. You know, they're not in every corner. It helps them some, but you know, they're just, I don't think they have the valuation. I just don't see it. Revolt TransferWise, Klarna, European fintech combination. Would be a decent one. There are definitely more. This is just off the top of my head, he said. And FYI, the reason I said likely no for those towards the end is because I see no chance in those companies selling 25 to 50% to go public. Like Coinbase, I could see doing 5 to 7.5% of their business selling for 400 to 500 million, as an example. But what he's getting at is Bill Ackman's MERS is too big. So if he were to take Robinhood in, he would end up owning like 40% of 50% of Robinhood. And what he's getting at is he doesn't think, and I don't think either, I've brought this up, that places like Robinhood are going to give up anything more than maybe 12% of their business. So it means his MERS is just a little bit too big. Regardless, what I want to paint the picture of is that Stripe isn't the only golden unicorn out there. You know, there's a couple of these that would still be pretty darn cool. And Stripe technically isn't a cool stock, right? It's just payment money. It's going to be super profitable, awesome, but I think a lot of these will be cool as long as it's not, he doesn't just pivot and get like Chuck E. Cheese or DirecTV. What do you think? Any upcoming catalyst coming up? Pershing Square Holdings Limited announces third quarter 2020 investor call. This is Bill Spackman's holding fund. This isn't the SPAC, but it's another date to pay attention to. It'll hold its third quarter investor conference on the 19th of November. So we got about 10 days. During the call, CEO Bill Ackman and other members of the Pershing Square investment team will provide an update on the portfolio and address questions emailed in advance by investors. Might get a little hint or two, maybe by some of the questions that maybe we can plug at them. want to come to my website here, click on that. You can email them some questions. Maybe we can get a little bit of info. We'll have to find out. Maybe they will release this information on PSTH a couple days before. That way in the conference call, they can be like, and the SPAC we just completed with Stripe is going so well, right? They need to be able to pitch it. The more they can hype themselves up through it. Synergy. YOLO Capital on Twitter. This guy, if you haven't followed him, do it. He's like the Bill Ackman master of knowledge. Okay, just check him out. Got his links here. He said, all right, if Paul Graham deleted the tweet he posted 2 weeks ago, 30 minutes after I retweeted it today, calling him out for the venture capitalists congratulating themselves and humble bragging, I know way too well within the community. I don't know what to tell you guys. This was huge for PSTH. Paul Graham came out and said, I'm sick. I'm just going to say it, risk it all, and call it right now. The feeling of deja vu is too strong. Stripe is the next Google. This guy's got ties with us, all right? He's up at Stripe. By market cap, although when they're sufficiently big, they will automatically be called evil, just as Google is. Okay, well, yeah, but that's, when people delete stuff, people that are guilty run. People that are guilty on Twitter delete. More Stripe connections. Ratha Alamanda said, Patrick, my conversation with this chick on growth investments, winner take all businesses, hardware versus software, international opportunities. This is like a like a podcast that happened. YOLO said, hey, I'm thinking 99% it's Stripe, 1% Bloomberg. The podcast was 60 minutes. 20 minutes into it, they were talking about Stripe. So she's involved, and she was kind of hyping Stripe, low-key hyping Stripe in this. Remember that whole Democrat-Republican thing we were talking about earlier? Well, John Collison, one of the founding brother dudes for Stripe, he's been liking, let's call it like making fun of Trump quotes on Twitter. So I'm sure he is someone who doesn't like Trump. Boys like to hang out with boys who like the same things, right? Boys and girls like the same things. It's just how it is. Yellow Capital Management also said, this is what Wells Fargo owns, but I'm sure their wealth management division is talking it up to their clients. Wells Fargo has had extensive partnerships with Stripe for over 7 years. The 222 million 13F filing is such a tell. Once the political shenanigans are sorted out, it's game time. So, Wells Fargo, we were talking about earlier, they've been using Stripe for 7 years. I've been using Stripe for many years, not through Wells Fargo, but other businesses, and I didn't know it until I looked it up the other day. Stripe's one of those low-key big monsters. This dude, Rerun Talking Stocks. Follow him. Here's the link here. Wells Fargo is their ODFI. Could be insider knowledge that lead us to buy. Take a look here and see. Financial institutions, or FIs, are the heart of the ACH workflow. Functioning as mediators of the network, they receive the ACH files from an ACH provider and transfer them to the proper clearings houses and batches at the end of every day. Depending on whatever route they go, the status of transaction, or notify customers of transaction made to the account, Stripe uses Wells Fargo as its ODFI. And customers are reached by their own bank when the ACH transaction is processed. On the other side, Plaid connects with users' blanks to retrieve and authenticate their information to make sure the operations are actually authorized to be performed against customers' bank accounts. There you go. There's more connections right there for Wells Fargo, who's buying the heck out of them. But in this video, I don't know if you've seen it a month or two ago, Bill said straight up, no he didn't, said that it's not going to be Stripe. That's what people have been saying. No, that's not what he said. What he actually said, Stripe is not ready to go public. So 2 months ago, Stripe was not ready to go public. So that means he's confirmed, talked to them about it. Number two, they're just not ready. 2 months ago. That was 2 months ago. Administrator Stripe has been hiring tons of people needed for specific public requirements. They weren't ready because they didn't have these people in place. Now they've been hiring those people. It may not be Stripe, but saying they are not ready means nothing. I agree. They can be ready in a few months, like right now. So they've been hiring like crazy, Stripe has. If it's Stripe, what I want to know is everyone going to wear guy liner for a week just to low-key celebrate?
Did you know that we give away free silver? Simply leave a comment on the video, and as long as you're in the continental United States, you can be automatically entered to win. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.